Before we get into playing, let's talk about some really basic stuff. What's a phrase? Okay, a phrase is a musical sentence. Now, I like to draw parallels between music and language because I think music is a language. Okay, so throughout the video I'm going to be comparing the way we play music to the way we speak. Okay? So, what's a phrase? All right? Well, in English, a sentence is a group of words that conveys an idea or a thought. All right? It's the same thing in music. It's a group of words that composes a musical thought, or we could call that a motif. All right? What's a paragraph? All right, well, in a book, you have a sentence, and then you have a group of sentences that further, details the idea of the first sentence, or conveys further thoughts about the first sentence. Then you're done with that idea, you move on with another paragraph. The same thing in music. In music, it's a group of phrases that are tied together in some way, in a musical way. In other words, you have an idea, then you continue that idea until that idea is through, and then you go on to say something different. Okay, so we're going to talk a lot about paragraphs later, but first let's just talk about the sentence itself, the phrase. Okay, there's three elements in a phrase that are the three key elements. Number one is rhythm. That's the important one. Okay, the next one is contour, the shape, the way the line moves up or the line moves down, whatever. And the third thing is the note choices. So if you bought my last video, that's basically what we were talking about, is the note choices. Like we were talking about which scales, which notes, which arpeggios work, blah, 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 over the chords, okay? So in this video, even though I'm going to do a lot of playing and you might hear some note choices you want to check out or whatever, the key emphasis on this video is going to be the way we take those note choices and do things with them to make music. Okay, I'm going to give you a really dumb example. I mean, this is really silly, but I think there's a big lesson to be learned from it. Check out this tune. Right? Okay, what's this tune? I know you know this tune. It's Jingle Bells, right? Okay, I know it's really silly, but there's a really big lesson to be learned from that, is that you didn't need the notes. You didn't even need the contour, the shape. All I gave you was the rhythm, and because the rhythm of that melody is so strong, you knew what the tune was. All right? Later, when we start improvising, you're going to really see the meaning of this. Now I'm going to play it again. I'll give you the contour. All right, now you have the shape, and you have the rhythm. And now you really hear the tune. You don't need the notes. You know what the tune is. You can do it with any tune. I can go... Right? It's Raindrops, right? You know this tune because the rhythm gave it away. Okay, so enough of that. It's a really silly thing, but you're going to find out that it's really ultra important in your playing to realize how rhythm plays such an important role. Now, you can take any tune, take any Beatles melody or whatever, any good melody, and this will also work, if it'll help you in your composition as well, to take this tune and analyze it from a standpoint of what do the rhythmic phrases do to each other. Like you'll hear a phrase, then you'll hear another phrase that might have a group of different notes, but you'll hear how rhythmically it's similar to the first phrase, or the contour might be similar. But if you analyze enough music, you'll start to see the parallels in the rhythms. And it'll start to, not only will it teach you how to compose, it'll teach you how to play in a more melodic way. Okay, so we'll take the Jingle Bells concept and we'll apply it over just a 1-4-5 blues progression. Okay? Now, you'd never play a blues like this. It doesn't make any sense. It's just rambling. In other words, I compare this to reading a book with no sentences or no paragraphs. There's nothing for the listener to latch on to, right? Now, the key thing in creating a paragraph is repetition. Repetition is the key to everything, to melody, to phrasing, to the whole works. Because what you want to do is you want to draw the listener's attention in. Okay? You have to realize that your mind is working about 100 times faster than the listener's ears. Okay? So the deal is by the time you thought of something to play and thrown it out, the listener's just absorbed it. Right? So if you just play a bunch of random stuff, pretty soon your playing just starts to sound like on a flat plane. There's no peaks and valleys. There's nothing for the listener to listen to and then say, well, where's he going to go with that? So I'll play it like I would play it. Let's take a simple lick like, okay? Now I'll play the blues again, and I'm going to make a statement with just this little lick. That's all I'll do. Okay, so you see what's happening is that this little phrase is repeating over and over again, and the listener's going, cool, what's he going to do next with that little thing? I'll take another idea. Same kind of thing. I'll make a paragraph happen. I like that idea. I'm going to do it again. Now maybe another idea. Do it again. Why not again? Now I'm going to do this. Okay, so hopefully you're seeing the meaning of what I'm talking about by musical paragraphs. Now, let's compare this to English again. You notice that when I do something again, I play a lick and then play it again. It's not like I have to play it verbatim, just like you read a book. If you see a paragraph and the opening statement is, Ed went to the store, you don't say, Ed went to the store, 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 right? That's not necessary. You say, Ed went to the store, and then he bought some bread, and then he bought some fish, and blah, blah, blah. The subject's related to the store, right? So in other words, if I play a lick like this, I don't have to do it again exactly. You see, the second phrase is like an answer to the first one. It's the same in concept, but it's not necessarily exactly verbatim. But you can do it verbatim if you want to. Let's say the next thing Ed does is he has sex with his girlfriend, right? So maybe you want to repeat that. Maybe that's important. Maybe it's like, you know, Ed had sex with his girlfriend. Now, Ed had sex with his girlfriend. Now, Ed really had sex with his girlfriend. Right? That's what we're talking about, milking an idea, right? So it's like, if you want to get your point across, you can really get it across by just repeating it as many times as you want to, and maybe the second or the third time you repeat it, maybe put more emphasis on it. We'll get into that when we start playing some jazz stuff a lot more.